next up, we have our founding partner of the Oriza Venture, Alex Liang, to give us a speech on the topic of challenges and opportunities for Chinese American founders. Please welcome.
Hello everyone. It's very nice to see you guys here. I think it's the pandemic has been like a long 2 years now. I missed meeting a lot of the friends, new friends and old friends. So I think it's really nice that JJLA can give us this opportunity. Thank you, Yifu, and all the team here to get us here to have the opportunity to chat with each other and catch up. So today I'd like to share some of the observations that I've seen through our portfolio companies, fundraising, etc. Some of the opportunities and challenges, especially for the Chinese American founders. Most of the people here who want to start up a company and what we are facing, especially in the building up a company and fundraising, etc. Now before that, just really quick, Oriza Ventures. We are a early stage VC fund in the seed stage, mostly pre-A, occasionally A round. We focus on the technology-driven companies. They can be AI, software, or their applications in different verticals, including mostly IT, enterprise SaaS, but also in life science, and sometimes it's hardware related. And also recently, we start to look more into the Web3 opportunities. So basically the traditional Web 2 and Web 3 technology-driven opportunities. So we've been around here for about 8 years, invested over 50 companies. So we will continue to look for new opportunities and hope to have a chance to work with everyone here. Now back to the topic. I want to start with a story. Maybe it's not like too early, like the C stage, but a company that we have invested. They got pretty much some investment from the A round, but they were about to raise the B round. And they start to see some of the challenges, especially when they are dealing with some of the mainstream US VCs. The company actually was doing pretty good. They were using software for a B2B to C type, mostly B2C, but through business partners. And they scaled the business pretty well. So revenue is good. They're growing, although the size is small, but they were able to manage the double growth over like 2 years. And the company was actually almost, I would say, profitable or break even. They are not really burning much cash, but they do want to scale the business. And the early investors mostly are, I would say, the Chinese background VCs, like Oriza Ventures and a few others, who are familiar with the Chinese community. So we put in some seed, early kind of A round. So I think they got very good support. But then when they are moving into the B round, number one, they need more capital. They want to raise over 10, hopefully 20 million to scale the business. And number two, they do want to have more partnership or get into the mainstream local system, ecosystem. And so the US, some of the mainstream US VCs can also help them to the next stage. So the company actually doing really well on the business side, but they just, for some reason, they going out to raise capital, met with many VCs, like after 3 months, there's no progress. And I was on the board, I was talking to the founder, we were saying, what's the problem? Why couldn't we raise the capital? And so we didn't know, we didn't figure that out. Until later, one of the US VCs, they say, hey, we're interested, we want to invest in your company. But we can only co-lead, we need another VC to co-lead with us. One is that they need someone else that they can both kind of feel safe or not as risky. And at the same time, they don't want to put in that much capital for the first investment. So you need another VC to chip in for the capital to be over like 10. So there's another co-investor, also another US VC. And they were also talking to the company. And so it depends on whether they move in or not. The first one will come in or not. So they both kind of start to talk to me, having a coffee or having lunch and whatever, and just schedule all the meetings. So through talking to them, I started to realize why they like the opportunity and what their concerns are. So, so firstly, talking about the things they like about the company. There are many things, right? But there's three things that really stand out for these particular companies. By the way, the company is also Chinese American founders. So number one, what they like is they use the word capital efficiency. So I typically use, well, we can manage that at a very low cost, right? But they don't use the word low cost, they use capital efficiency. But essentially, they are saying, wow, this team, with the same amount of money, they can do so many things that other companies cannot do. And that's really impressive to them. And they see that's kind of the part of the entrepreneurship. In the old days, the entrepreneurs, right, we all do things. We want to make things happen, low cost. But nowadays, many so-called startups, they do not have that culture anymore. Even like Seed or A-Round, many of the startup companies, I'm not saying it's founded by non-Chinese Americans, right? But many of the startup companies, they are good at raising capital, but they are also good at spending the money. And one case I talked to, well, one of the, not the company I invested, a different company, I talked to the CEO. I said, so this is a problem, right? What do you do? I'll just hire someone. I'll go out to the market and hire someone who has experience working with big companies. So when that guy comes in, the first thing he does is to hire another person or hire a team, and he's not doing anything. So many of these so-called startup companies are not really having the entrepreneurship culture at all. So that's why I see it's kind of fading away in a way from Silicon Valley for many of the other companies we've seen. But the Chinese American founder company, the US VC thing, I start to see that spirit. That's a real startup entrepreneur spirit. They are very cost efficient. So this is a very attractive thing. And secondly, they see the company is actually, the business is growing. And so the founders have figured out ways to really grow the business. And that is also fundamental. So the first VC, they want to co-lead. Initially, they wanted to say, hey, it's too hard, right? There's no other VC, and we've been looking at this. We talked to, by the way, they introduced quite a few VC to the company. And all the other VCs were not, no, we'll probably just stay away. So it almost got to the point, the first VC almost gave up, saying, well, you guys go figure it out, right? If you can find another VC come in, we're always happy to come in. But if you're not, we probably cannot invest. But then a few months later, they keep coming back, saying, well, we got another VC who want to look at you. We really want to invest in your business, because every few months afterwards, the business grows. So that's why it's, the continual business growth really always kind of drag the investors back. They do see there's something there, and they don't want to miss out. So the founders were able to hack a way to really grow the business. So that's the second thing they really like. And the third thing is execution. So they're talking to the founders, right? Sometimes say, what's your plan? What do you want to do? And the next time they meet them, pretty much what the founder said, what they plan to do, they did it. So they were really practical. The team was really practical, and they have a goal and they make it happen. So those things are very impressive, and the US VCs are saying, wow, I just really love all these things these guys are doing. And then the potential co-investor I talked to, I said, what's your concern? Why are you not moving forward, right? The company is so good. We do not see anything wrong with them. And only after a while, we got kind of close. Then the VC started to share with me his concerns. Also 3 top points. Number one, they say, well, it's basically the 2 words they use. One is storytelling, or the fundraising capability. So the Chinese founders, they are doing a very good business, growing it. But it's not so easy for the founder to tell the story. So what is the mission of the company, long-term goal? How can you be so different? How can you grow the business? What is so unique about you? Etc. There are just so many questions. So and sometimes the founder, they are not well trained. Like people sometimes they go to the YC, they got like 2-3 months, and they start to tell the story. You see the YC pitch day, right? Each founder tell two minutes presentation and the elevator pitch. They can pretty much tell the story, so exciting, but most of the companies do not even have a portion of all the real business that our companies can build. But they can tell a very good story. But most of the Chinese founders, we don't have that training or experience in really telling a good story. We have something very good, but when we are trying to put something in a condensed way, in a short story, that can convey to the investors or your business partners or the team members what you are trying to do, why you can be successful, why all the other parties should come to join and be part of it. And especially to the investors, it's the best that you have everything else. The only thing you miss is money. So that's the best situation, right? But anyways, I think that's a key part. Most of the Chinese founders are lacking. How do you tell the story? It can be learned, but it's important. And the second concern is, again, the team building. So they see the two founders of the company, two co-founders, they're very good. But under them, they're very good kind of team doing all the work at that scale. But the VC is thinking, well, if we want to scale the company another 5 times or 10 times, they do not see how this team can manage that. And they do not see how the two founders can build a team that can manage that. And the team so far, the founders have not demonstrated their capability in attracting talents that are more experienced than them. So that's the second concern. How can you build a team so that the team can help scale the business? And the third thing, they use the word coachable. Is a founder coachable? Because the VCs are all very experienced. They know what some things will happen, what some challenges the team will meet. But when they talk to the founders, sometimes they see the founders have the guts, have the instincts, have certain ways of doing things. That's good. But sometimes they're concerned that, well, in critical situations, will the founder be open up or learn things they don't know and change reasonably and quickly with the investor, rather than treating the investor as on the other side of the table, but actually as a team that they can benefit from what the investor can bring to the table and really learn from that. That is actually critical. So a lot of time I was talking to both these US VCs. I was trying to explain to them why the founders were coachable. Because I've been working with them for many years, but for them it's so new. It's only like a couple months. How do they know enough about the founders? So these are kind of the 3 concerns. So I think for those things, it's not only to this particular company. We have at least 2-3 other companies that they were facing similar situations. So all these, some common things again. The people, we can start a company, we can build the business very cost efficiently or capital efficiently, we can execute, and we can hack a way to grow the business. But on the other side, we are just not there yet, but that's a big opportunity on the storytelling, team building, and open up to, or at least like the VCs feel that the founders are quick learners. So those things are also important. If we have all these things together, I think it's a big opportunity for the Chinese American founders here that we can beat many of the other founders out there who already lost the entrepreneurship. And we can also build something that we don't have, but that can relatively be easily obtained. So with all these things, the company, I think, can have a very good chance in raising capital and build a business here. So to end the story, eventually, the second investor, they went to their investment committee. And so, unfortunately, they decided not to invest in the company. But that's not the end of the story. The partner of the fund, he really liked the company. So he continued on with the meetings with the company with us, and finally he said, well, I'll invest myself. I'll put in my personal capital. But he had to disclose that with his partners. So he went back to his partners and told them, yeah, I really like the company, so I'll invest my personal money. And his partners say, hey, wait. We've known you for so many years. Are we missing something here? Why are you willing to put in your own money, right? We're a big fund. We can put in the money ourselves. So he explained more of his personal feelings through all the engagement and explained these concerns, why he can address the concern, especially after he has built some trust with the founding team and the company. So then the partnership had a second meeting and say, well, please don't put in your personal money. We'll put in our fund money into the company. So eventually they decided to put in the money, and very quickly the company closed the 20 million Series B. And after that, only 6 months later, both of the two investors say, hey, the company is doing so well. We wanted to deploy more capital. We want to give you another 30 million, and we'll double your valuation. So that happened the first half of this year. So just want to share this story with you. I think there are a lot of opportunities there, but bear in mind, there are something very strong we can do, but there's something we can also learn and build that. Once we have all these things, I think we'll stand a very good chance in building successful companies here and raising capital from the market. Thank you.